Greetings! Welcome to this video. Welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I have put out a video, so I'm probably going to be a little awkward in this video. I hope that's okay with you. We're just going to roll with it. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be here. This is cool. This is weird. I'm going to stop acknowledging that. So in this video, I want to talk to you about my 2021 year, what I learned, how it went through the lens of my word of the year. So I started doing a word of the year 6 or 7 years ago, and about 3 years ago I decided, hey, what if I created a guide to help other people choose a word for the year? And the rest is history. So I've been doing it ever since. It has evolved quite a bit, as I have evolved quite a bit. I think this year is my best yet, if I can say that. But this year I actually decided to add another thing to the lineup, if you will. Usually I put a few questions at the end of the guide to help you at the end of the year reflect on how your word unfolded, what happened, how did it turn out, how did it feel, does it still mean anything to you? If it does, what does it mean, how did it change, all those things. But I felt that didn't really work for me after a couple years of doing it. I felt like I needed something else. I felt like I needed to expand on that idea. The questions didn't really feel resonant anymore. And the idea of having a page that you're supposed to like hold on to or come back to after 12 months just seemed like a lot. So I decided to make a smaller guide, a shorter guide, just like with a couple questions at the end at December time to reflect on the year. It's just basically a vehicle for reflection. I'm going to share with you what my word of the year for 2021 was, what my plans were, and then we're going to talk about what actually happened and go from there. If you want to know what my word for 2022 is, I'm hoping to make another video for that, so please stay tuned. Consider subscribing if you're interested, and if at any point this video is helpful or enjoyable, I would really appreciate if you like it. Okay, so I have my guide for 2021 here. Basically the page, I include a page where you put like your word and like the definition of it, what it means to you, and how you envision living it out. At least that was the language I used for 2021. So my word of the year for 2021 was, drumroll, brave. Yeah, it seems like both an ambitious word, but also a basic word. It just feels kind of basic in my opinion, but don't let anybody get down on you for being basic, all right? Anyways, my word of the year was brave. The definition is ready to face and endure danger or pain, showing courage. I considered some other words. Liminal, because I've just been going through a lot of changes and I felt like I was in a transition, all of that. So I thought that would be the word, but in the end I chose brave because I wanted to be more courageous. I struggle a lot with fear, and I just felt that when it came to what I wanted to do, I felt like brave really encapsulated what I wanted the year to be for me. What it meant to me was taking risks, doing things I'm afraid of, and I envisioned living out the word by applying to like opportunities, like journals, residencies, that type of thing, telling my story more. So here we are. This video is still an extension of that because that doesn't end in 1 year, working on my weaknesses without shame and embracing the unknown. And I just want to say that the definition being ready to face and endure danger or pain, I had a little resistance to that because I don't want danger and pain. But I think one of the things about life is that is really inevitable. And so what I wanted to be was someone who didn't cower in fear, didn't back down from the things that seemed like it would bring pain or bring danger. And I think some of those things that bring pain and danger are actually good things. And it's really hard to see that when you're afraid and when you don't want to be in danger and you don't want to be in pain. But sometimes those are also illusions. The things that you think are going to be painful actually turn out to be opportunities for amazing things to happen. So although the definition really scared me at first, it felt good a little bit. It felt like I was towing the line of something. It was a risk, I'll say that. In the guide, I offered an opportunity in my 2021 guide to choose a quote, as an affirmation or an anchor for your word of the year. The words that I chose for myself, the ones that I said, were step out of fear, step into vulnerable, put on brave. That was my words. And the quote from someone else that I used was, "It is the mainspring of life, courage, and courage has many faces." Okay, now let's talk about how 2021 unfolded. Was I brave or not? The first question in the guide is December 2021, where are you at right now? How are you? When I answered that question, it was on a different day than when I answered the rest of the questions, so I wasn't actually doing too hot on that day. So we're not going to get too much into that. I'm actually glad that I put that question in there to ask, where are you right now? Because had I jumped into answering the questions that day, I don't think I would have been able to have the balanced perspective that I needed to go in. But it just was what it was, you know. I wasn't having the best time. I wasn't having the best day, and that's where I was that day. Doesn't really have much of a bearing on Brave for 2021, but I wanted to just share that just to say that. The next question was, what does blank, your word, mean to you now? So I put a little blurb that said, consider how did it unfold within your original intention? How did it unfold beyond your original intention? What memories, thoughts, and feelings arise? So I was going over my previous guide when I was answering this question, and the quote that I had shared about courage has many faces and is the mainspring of life, really stuck out to me. It stuck out to me that I said that I wanted to embrace things that I didn't understand, embrace the unknown, and to explore hard things. And I started thinking about the things that I did that were brave, and I thought, I took some time off of school, and I thought that was super brave. Actually, a friend of mine from my program said that, and that really stuck out to me because, you know, she didn't know it was my word of the year. And I was like, you know what? Like, I knew it was brave, but someone else said it and reflected it back to me. And I was really thinking about that when I was completing my guide. That was really hard because I didn't know what it meant, what I was going to do, all of that. So I felt really good about that. I felt like I did embrace a lot of unknown and continue to push through in my own personal growth and my own spiritual journey in ways that I could have never done in the past. And I think that is just like a cumulative effect of growing as a person, at least for me, was that I was able to see myself doing things that I couldn't have imagined myself doing before. And I told my story more. I did take a lot of time off of social media, as far as Instagram specifically, and videos didn't come as often as I wanted, but I shared more authentically than I had in the past. I also shared my story more with the people around me. I was more honest and upfront, and I put myself in situations where I was a little bit uncomfortable and I didn't know what was going to happen, and I kind of put myself in other people's hands in a more in a vulnerable way, and I was really proud of myself for that. That's kind of how it unfolded within my intention. Beyond my intention, I said that I acted in my own strength. I believed in me. I became ready to face so many things. I showed a face of bravery that I didn't think was possible for me. And I said, love is brave, and I gave myself so much of it, me now and past me. And because I wrote so much, I was able to really learn myself and stop discounting my power. Shame is shrinking for me. Untruths are losing their power for me. Instead of prioritizing and valuing other people's views and truths other than my own, I trusted in the capabilities that I have. I trusted in my view, in my truth. Sorry, there's a bit of like mixing tenses, so if that bothers you, sorry. I don't back down from insecurity. I ask questions and I explore. I speak brave. Brave has meant not only acting without fear, but also being soft to myself as I stare down fear and push it aside. One thing I learned in 2021, that it's brave to choose yourself. It's brave to focus more on how your life feels than how it looks. Within the culture of family, within the culture of the larger society, within the culture of spiritual circles, religious circles, these sorts of things, you can tend to really get concerned about what other people are seeing about your life and not really as concerned or putting as much energy or being afraid of really looking into how your life feels It's so much easier to portray what your life looks like than it is to really dig into how it feels. Because a lot of times that means really digging through the muck, you know? And the questions and the doubts and the problems and the pain, you know? I'm making it funny, but it's really serious. I think focusing on how my life felt to me really made a difference in my life. And I could get really emotional because there were so many things that didn't feel good. And I really had to look into those, and I really had to prioritize me because it's my life. At the end of the day, other people can think what they want to think about me, but I know who I am, and I know if and when my life is what I want it to be. What my life should be is not actually up to anyone else. I decide what my life should be. And I think I lived within so many paradigms that were telling me, and I still do to some degree, but I started to break free from those paradigms that tell me this is what your life should look like, this is what you should be doing, this is how you should feel, this is how you should act, and this is the types of relationships you should have, and these are the type of relationships you shouldn't have, and these are the types of things you should be interested in, these are the type of things you shouldn't be interested in. It's exhausting and it's suppressing. It completely squashed my identity. And I had to spend 2021 finding out who I was and what I wanted to do and what I felt like I should be doing and should not be doing, you know? Anyway, I'm getting a little long-winded, sorry. Back to my words. I said, it's brave, how brave it is to choose yourself, to focus more on how your life feels than how it looks, to unlearn performance, to embrace your intuition. I still feel a twinge of shame and frustration about my creative hiatus or silence, but it is brave to cocoon and trust that I will emerge at the right time, in the right form. I am changing. I am transforming. What a brave process. Sometimes I really just love the way that I write things, and I love to look back on the words that I chose in a moment, you know? I'm filming this some weeks after I completed the guide, so it's really sweet. It's for me. Okay. I need a minute. This is good. The next question was, do you have any disappointments/negative feelings related to your word? How can you respond to them honestly and compassionately? Yeah. I responded by saying, I wanted to be more direct and honest with people. I wanted to take more action. I know that these are first steps and I dealt with a lot, but I still wish I had taken certain actions. And I think that was a big part of choosing brave as a word, is that the expectations for bravery are really, really high. I wish that I had taken advantage of more creative opportunities and really put myself out there. But that didn't really coincide well with the idea that I was actually in a hiatus or in a cocoon at the time. I didn't want to be. I wanted to break out. I wanted to do other things. I wanted to put myself out there, but those actions weren't compatible with the needs that I had. And I didn't really realize that at the time. And I wrote, I laid the groundwork for these things. To believe that action is the only catalyst to change is foolish. Cocooning appears inactive from the outside, but we have the wider perspective and knowledge to know that in fact, the most spectacular transformation is happening. Like here, there is no going back to that old form. It takes time to accept and prepare for this. And so this was me talking to myself about how I could respond to my disappointments and my negative feelings in a realistic and compassionate way. Like the truth of the matter is I could have maybe done other things. It doesn't necessarily mean that those things would have been the best things for me. It doesn't necessarily mean that I would have been able to do the things that I wanted to do. It doesn't mean that not doing them was better. It just is what it is. And I also need to recognize that there was an incompatibility with the things that I wanted and the things that I needed. I don't know if I needed more opportunities, more creative projects, but I certainly did need quiet time. I certainly did need time to myself. I certainly did need to give myself permission to not do certain things. So I hope that's not too vague. It just, that's my story there. I hope some of it is resonating. So If you're still here, that's awesome. Thank you for being here. Let's move along. I feel like I'm going a little bit slow right now. The next question was, the final prompt actually, was reflect on the bright moments of 2021, the things that'll take with me into 2022. So it's name 2 or 3 memories, experiences, or insights that added goodness to your life this year. The first thing that I wrote, I'm not going to share the specific words of what I wrote, but the gist of it is I learned something about myself that changed my life. I was able to finally understand why I've struggled with certain things and where my abilities really are and what I'm able to do and not able to do. I was really able to embrace not being able to do certain things. There are things that I had been forcing myself to do because of ableism and because of the expectations of other people and the expectations of this world around us that is ableist. And I had struggled with self-hate for so long because of those things. I felt that I knew I couldn't do them, but I felt like I should be able to do certain things, and I just was unable. And so I was able to name what those things are, name who I am, name my place in my social relationships, my place in my behaviors, and all of those things. So it was super life-changing, and it came with a lot of mourning, but it was really good, and I don't want to let that slip away. The second thing that I mentioned before was that I took time off school, that I left school, and I did what was best for me, even though I'm still not really sure what it means and what my future holds. Next was getting my new camera, which I'm recording on right now, a super amazing, good thing, and that was awesome. I have a wonderful computer that my husband built for me from scratch, and if you are a tech person, you know anything about tech, is that graphics cards are really hard to come by these days. And the only way that I was able to get one is because he entered a contest to win the opportunity to buy it. Because they sell out, and they're really inaccessible right now, and people are selling them for way more than they're worth in order to make money. Next is connecting with my best friend in deeper ways. She's awesome. I love her so much, and I'm so grateful to have her, and I think we reached just new parts of our friendship, and I think it's really important to talk about that, because sometimes we just tend to focus on like leveling up in your romantic relationships and, you know, getting engaged, getting married, having kids, you know, blah, 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 but not really talking about our platonic relationships. I don't know why I did this, but our platonic relationships and the evolution that those are. I feel like our relationship evolved this year, and I'm super happy about that. And that was something that brought goodness to my life this year. And I just celebrating my personal learning and personal growth this year is freaking cool. And I just wanted to put that on the list because it brought goodness to me. The things that I learned, the ways that I grew were just amazing, if I can say that. Thank you. Amazing. I'm super proud of myself. I did amazing in 2021, considering all the bull that we are dealing with in this world, this country, in this life. I'm proud of myself. That's what I can say. I'm super proud of what I have done for myself in 2021. So that is the questions for the guide. Lastly, there is a section of creative prompts that are optional that I offer to people. And I chose to do number 5, which was to write a letter to your 2021 word of the year. So I wrote a letter to Brave, and I want to share that with you today. Dear Brave, you are a blessing to me. You gave me strength by my own name. You gave me congruence. You didn't ask much of me other than to be me. You gave me confidence. My dear Brave, you reminded me that power isn't evil, it is divine, and it is mine. You set me free. You helped me recognize my own face and to see its beauty. You put me back in my own body, back in the landscape of my reality. You let me see the earth again. You let me speak aloud and in silence with my presence. You started me home, Brave. You taught me what medicine and magic truly are, Brave. You showed me how death and rebirth happen millions of times, Brave. You helped me enter the garden, Brave. I want you to know that you are one of the most special growths I've cultivated. You want me to know this is just the beginning of our journey together. Love, Zena. So that's it. That is my journey through 2021 in a nutshell. There's so much more that I could say. I'm super glad if you're still here. Thank you so much. It means actually so much to me that you would really be present for me telling my story. And I hope that it offered you something. It's really important to me to share my story with the right people. And so I hope that's you. I'm glad it's you. And this has been a really strange experience to share on camera again, because it's been so long since I've been here. I hope that no matter what 2021 was for you, that moving forward, you're able to celebrate yourself. And I hope that you continue to cultivate the good things in your heart and in your life. And I hope that you can be surrounded with people who love you and support you. I still have so much to learn and so much to grow, but I feel like I've come so far, and it's because I continue to believe that things are going to get better, and that I have the power to grow, and that I have the power to build the life that I want. It's really hard to believe that sometimes. It's really hard to not compare myself to other people. It's really hard not to feel powerless. But there's so much possibility in this world, and that's the way that I choose to approach it. And so I hope that my story was helpful to you. I hope it was enjoyable for you to be here. And I welcome you to continue sticking around. And I welcome you to share what your 2021 was. And if you had a word for the year, what was it? And if you might want to do a word of the year for 2022, I made a guide. It's not too late to do that. It's never too late to have intention for the next season of your life and to carve out whatever that time looks like for you. So if you're interested, I'll leave the link down below so that you can use my guide to help choose your word for 2022. I look forward to sharing my word in an upcoming video. Feel free to follow me on Instagram if you want to see more of me on a more frequent basis, and to also witness my art and kind of what's unfolding on that space, because it's a different space than here, and things are a little different. So you can follow me and we can chat there if you want to chat and connect, and you know, I don't know. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.